Yo, what's going on, y'all? I'm your host, CP. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Now, today I'm going to be talking about This Is Us Season 2, Episode 4, Still There. Now, just want to put it out there now. This is a review, so it's a spoiler alert. Just want to let y'all know now. So, with that being said, man, this episode done had me all over the place. But you know what? We're going to get to that in a minute. Y'all check me out.
But behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
So, the three main topics that they talk about this episode are Rabecca's annoying mom, Kevin's knee, and Beth versus Deja's hair. So, the show starts off as the young family in the past timeline are at this Blockbuster. Only y'all 90s babies and back know what I'm talking about when I say Blockbuster. But end up finding out Kevin's looking like he's itching and has chicken pox. So they had to go to the doctor, try to get it all sorted out, trying to find out what's going on, who has chicken pox in their past when they were younger and who hasn't. So, after this doctor visit, they're coming home and, still want to sort things out with this whole chicken pox situation. And then there's a knock on the door and pops up Rabecca's mad annoying racist mom. We're going to get to why she's racist in a minute. And I mean, super annoying in the sense of the things that she says. So there's a situation where Kevin and Jack are having, this one-on-one. Jack's telling Kevin, look, you're bigger than this itch. Anytime you feel like itchy, you're just going to make this mean mug just growl, just, and they going back and just, you bigger than this. And then in walks the grandma like, oh, you know what, you should stop that because you're giving me a headache. Or when young Randall's like super excited, he's working on a science fair project and he wants to show her, what he's working on. And she's like, oh, well, you know what? Just show me whenever you're finished. But what really got me was when it was her, Rabecca, and young Kate in the kitchen. And she starts talking about this black maid that she used to have. And she used to teach her how to speak and all this, that, and the third. Boy, when I heard that, I was about to be like, the rain come through that TV. Boy, you talking about, they were talking about 7 days. No, you was about to have 7 seconds. Now, I don't hit women, but boy, she was trying. I was about to come through that thing and just, boy. Man, if it had been up to me, she'd have been gone a long time ago. But, it ain't my TV show. But anyway, Rabecca ends up telling her about herself like, look, I can come up with these excuses when it comes to Kevin and Kate, but when it comes to Randall, I can't even make up an excuse for the things that you say. But you know what? I want you out. When this snows up, I want you gone. And I was just like, yes, thank you. So Randall ends up overhearing this whole conversation, and now Jack and Rabecca have to have this sit down with Randall to explain to them what does it mean that their grandmas are racist. And so, eventually after that, there comes a point in time when the annoying racist grandma ends up, talking to young Randall and looking at his science fair project and sees how he was able to analyze that, this original marble wasn't able to, work in his contraption. He had to switch over to like a heavier ball. And, she then realizes he's special. And Randall's like, about time you know this. Now, the second topic that they talk about this episode is Kevin's knee. Now, Kevin is still trying to recover from his knee injury, ends up going to the doctor and decides to get surgery in order to have a speedy recovery to get right back on set. During this time, he looks like a revised script from the director, and it looks like they've made some changes, and you can start to see how his knee is having an effect on his career. Now, he ends up going back to Kate and Toby's place, and he's now being hard-headed when it comes to, not listening to what the doctors are saying. He's not taking his meds. He's really, sounds like me, taking his cast off, saying, oh, I got it. I'm going to just get right back on it. And ends up having this heart-to-heart with Toby because, Toby's like, yo, what the heck? Why aren't you listening to your nurses? Why aren't you doing what they're telling you to do in order for your knee to be, healthy again? Kevin begins to tell him that, there was a time when he was in high school and he used to play football. He wasn't a good football player. He was great. And then, he had scouts come looking at him. He was a sophomore playing on the varsity team. And then he got this knee injury and it completely changed everything. His whole football career just went down the drain just like that. And so as a result of that, he turned to acting. And, at first he was kind of doing it just as a hobby, something to just get his mind off of things. And then he started developing, that career started, to take off. And so what he's starting to see now is his knee injury is potentially going to mess that up at the same time, because, you can see just because his knee injury, now they're changing the script. It was something that he wanted. And so that's something that is really, really messing with him. It ends up getting through to Kevin that, he starts to take his meds and he starts to do what the nurses tell him. In order to have this recovery, he gets back on set and, he's able to get right through it. So, when it comes to Kevin, he overcomes things, baby steps. We're still working on the whole situation with his dad, but, this is something small that, we can definitely see progression of his growth, and his dynamic as a character. But, when I was sitting there, I was like, oh, Kevin. But then I thought, I was like, man, this must be what other people feel like when I'm the one injured and I'm just like, oh, you know what, I'm fine. Just rub some dirt on it, I'll be all right. So then we come through the third and final topic of this episode, which is my homie Beth versus Deja's hair. Now, it takes us to Randall's house where, they're all in the kitchen and Deja stank. Like, I don't know why she's just not showering or, not washing her hair at all. But Beth is like, look, she got to do something about it because we're not about to be walking around here stank. This is hygienic, And Randall's like, oh, you know what? We got to be real sensitive about this because we don't want her to feel any more isolated than what she already feels. And we just got to be delicate about the situation. So Randall ends up taking the girls to go bowling. And so, they get there and Deja don't want to take her shoes off, and she was like, she ain't had no socks, and, I'm thinking like, oh, like, if she don't shower, like, Lord knows what her feet smell like. And so, she ends up getting into it with another girl, and, she ends up pushing her, and the dad walks in like, oh, you don't need to be pushing my daughter, and Randall steps in like, yo, you need to back up, you know what I'm saying, you don't want these problems. Take his glasses off, about to give him work, and he was like, I had to come back, he had to come back to it. Deja walks off and was like, you know what, don't even worry about it. He's not even my dad. I'm not even his daughter. Boom. And so, later that night, Randall is telling Beth about, what happened during that day. And he was like, you know what, you just need to go ahead and handle this situation. You need to have that talk about hygiene with her. And Beth's like, you know what, don't worry, I got it. I'll take care of it. So, once Beth says that, I'm just like, oh man, what is she about to say? How's the conversation going to go? And the next day she has this conversation with Deja, and handles this thing like a boss. So Beth walks in Deja's room and sees that Deja's packing up her book bag, and Beth's like, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm packing my stuff, I'm about to leave because I know y'all probably gonna kick me out of the house. And Beth's like, yo, chill, relax, we're not gonna kick you out the house. It is very true that, we don't put hands on each other in this house, but you didn't know that, so I'm putting that out there now. So just unpack your stuff, chill. And so Deja's like, okay, is that it? And Beth's like, well, there is one other thing that, when I was younger, me and my sisters used to do each other's hair. It was something that we understood the outside appearance reflects the inside. Now, I don't know why you're not taking care of your hair, but it's got to get done. Now, I can do it. I can braid your hair. I used to do that with my sisters. Or if not, we can go to the salon. I have this really expensive salon. I love the way that they take care of my hair. I spend loads of money and it's worth every single dime. And so they're just like, you know what, I want you to do it. And so then it's like, okay, good. Now we start to see some of this connection. They're just starting to open up to Beth. Cool, good. That's what's up. I'm here for it. So Beth ends up doing Deja's hair. And while she's doing her hair, notices that there are patches in her head. And so she asks Deja, do you know anything about these patches? And obviously lying, Deja's like, no, she didn't know anything about them. And so Beth's like, look, it's only me and you here. You can tell me. And so Deja begins to open up a little bit, saying that, they get worse, it seems like, under stressful situations. And Beth's like, oh, I had a sister who had patches in her hair too. And it's something called alopecia. And it's something that, stress can have an effect on. But something I used to do is braid her hair so it looks all pretty and nobody can even notice. And Deja likes that. And that's what she ends up doing to Deja's hair. Later, Beth and Randall end up talking that night, and she lets him know kind of what's going on with Deja. He ends up going to talk to Deja, saying, hey, when I was younger, there were these 2 times when I had these breakdowns. I would get so stressed that it comes to a point where, I would just explode. And so something that I would use to relieve stress is running. And you know what? I would love to go on a run with you. And so Deja turns around and looks and was like, she told you? And Randall stuck like, And so she's in the mirror, reaches for some scissors and starts to cut these braids. And immediately I'm just like, oh, Beth, like, how's it going to affect her? And so, next scene, Deja, hair's all messed up again. She done cut, all those braids off. And as soon as Beth sees it, you can almost see the pain immediately. Like, she just like stabbed like right through the heart. And you feel that pain. And then immediately Randall sees that pain as well. And, you can see it affect him as well. And, since Beth is the homie, like that hit me. I was just like, oh no, not Beth. Like, oh, she just, they were making such good strides. And I think it was a really good, I really like how this dynamic is really painted because, it seems like, the stressors of going through a foster child is, you would think it's going to take a long time. And just when you start to see baby steps happening, it all, we get turned back to zero. Actually, less than zero, because now Deja feels like the trust has been broken. Now it's not even square one, but now you're starting it back at like -5. So again, I thought this was a great episode. I mean, my emotions was all over the place between being angry at the annoying racist mom, being anxious to find out what Beth is gonna talk to Deja, or being hurt when she finds out those braids are being cut. It's just all, emotional roller coaster. That's where I am in this show. Overall, I give this episode a 9.4. I think this is another great episode. I really can't wait until next week to see how this whole situation with Deja is going to further develop. We already see how we have to start all over again from scratch, having to, improve the trust in just within that family. And so, I'm really excited to see that. But I'm interested to know, what do you all think about this episode? Like, are y'all's emotions on as much as a roller coaster as mine? Talk to me. Comment down below. Let's talk about it. I want to hear from you guys. If y'all like this video, definitely like and subscribe to help me navigate the direction of this channel. I definitely appreciate y'all for watching. This is Commentary with CP, and I'll check you on the next one. Peace.